Hello, welcome to your unboxing for your Decadent December subscription culture club kit. Happy holidays to all of you. I know how stressful this time can be, and it's full of waiting for shipments and planning gifts and planning dinners, and we're gonna make it a little easy for you. You can save these for yourself for some sanity. You can gift them to people who you think would enjoy them, or you can share them with the people that you're looking forward to spending the holidays with. Let's dive right in. We've got a lot to taste through. First and foremost, the cheese cracker. You're gonna make some beautiful boards for you, for your friends, for your frenemies that you have to impress. And if you want to impress those frenemies, this cracker was again created and intended for cheese pairing. It is a sourdough flatbread that takes that really nice, wholesome, but full flavor and improves the cheese eating experience. If you're not gonna have cheese with just more cheese, you should include this instead. This is probably my favorite flavor. I go back and forth, but today it is this one. Olive oil and celery are clean. They add a little bit of seasoning. It is really crisp, really mellow, but will make the board look beautiful and will make you feel happy you added them. So don't forget your crackers on your board. Now you need cheese. We sent you two for this one. You're getting Park City Creamery's Hidden Treasure and my most important cheese, Pecorino Fiore Sardo. Let's start with our local baby. Corinne is just a magnificent addition to Utah's food community. She is one of the few making soft bloomy rind cheeses, and this one is got holiday and festivity in spades. This is a classic bloomy rind cheese. We rely on Penicillium candidum for the rind of this. It gives you a pretty mild exterior, and it makes for a really tender and pretty mellow feeling and tasting rind, but the beauty is what's hidden in this treasure. So when you slice through this, you should be met with some pretty ooey gooey, delicious cheese, but beyond that, there is also a really gorgeous and beautiful layer of truffle. If I can pull it apart, Adri, boom, truffles, behold. Once fresh when this cheese was made, now a little bit aged along with the interior of this cheese. But while we're also admiring the cheese, let's also admire that kind of bit of extra texture. We have our really lovely, very tender rind, like we already talked about, this really gorgeous cream line, but then just next to the truffles, it's not fully aged all the way through. So you get this little bit of cakey, flaky, almost chev-like interior. So you get this juxtaposition of textures, this really lovely, rich, creamy flavor, only improved by the aroma of fresh black truffles. Now, before I smear this all over myself, I'm going to put this down. Things to do with this. If you are going to make a baked brie, try it with this. Gussy it up with a little bit of truffle action, wrap it in puff pastry, throw it in the oven, please enjoy. And if you don't want to use puff pastry, maybe stick a few cloves of garlic in the top, drizzle a little bit of white wine on top, maybe a couple grindings of fresh black pepper, but go big. Go big or don't do the holidays, right? Let's get fun with this. I think we have a lot to celebrate this year. You get to see your friends and family again. That's reason enough to celebrate with truffles. Now, this next cheese. Pecorino Fiore Sardo is the oldest cheese recipe known to man that is still being made the exact same way today. This cheese that we send you is aged only 9 months. It is not strange mummy cheese. Do not get weird. I don't want to hear it. It is fun. It is aged, but it is not thousands of years old. It is just the recipe that is that old. Fiore Sardo comes from the island of Sardinia. It is a sheep's milk cheese that is brined, kind of like a feta, for just a few hours right after the wheels have been formed, and then cold smoked for another few hours, so you get this really nice, very mild, savory smokiness, but then you get the funk and the salinity and the flavor components of your favorite sheep's milk cheeses. I think it is really fun and important to spread the story of Fiore Sardo, because if you've taken a cheese class from us, you know that this cheese is part of Slow Food Organization's Arc of Taste, which means it is going extinct. And the whole reason we're here and the whole reason we do what we do at Caputo's is to honor and protect the traditions of our ancestors. And if we can't protect this guy, we're doomed. And it's really important to us. So you're going to see a lot of this in our classes. You're going to see a lot of this on social. You're going to see it in more boxes. It is something that we're committed to giving a lot of energy to. So we're going to save it, and we need your help. And your homework is to eat this cheese. It's the most tasty homework I've ever received. Now, for this cheese, I think it is a really fantastic table cheese. I don't expect you to eat every single thing that we send you on the table. However, if you're going to, we should add a little bit of honey. If you are going to cook with it instead, try using it as a substitution to Pecorino Romano, grated on all of your favorite tomato-based sauce pasta dishes. Scramble an egg, and then add this to the top. It adds a little bit of seasoning and a lot of extra flavor, and will make it feel really ethereal and silky still, and a little bit of melty cheese on top always makes things more delicious. But let's go back to honey. This is chestnut honey from Dr. Pescia. It is a Tuscan monofloral honey. We normally see a lot of wildflower honeys where bees can select any type of blossom that is blooming and make a collection of pollens that make for a rounder honey flavor. Monofloral honeys are intended to give you a more specific flavor profile and to achieve different aromatics and different flavors. Chestnut honey in particular is special and very different than a lot of other honeys that we've experienced before. This is smoke and leather and bitter savoriness in the most pleasant and unctuous and ethereal way. And let's just talk about this color. It is this copper bronze that is really, really lovely, drizzled onto truly anything, but Fiori Sardo would be a great place to start. And if you're not really in the mood to drizzle honey on cheese, I would add this to a shakshuka. I would add it to roast. I would add it to pumpkin soup. I would add it to roasted squash. There's a variety of things you can do. But one of the things that I like to do with this is to make a hot toddy. I don't make cocktails. I was not graced with the gift of cocktailing. You're going to have to talk to a Caputo about that. They are better at it than I am. However, I have one that I love very much. It involves this chestnut honey, some hot water, and my very favorite and local water pocket, Notom. If you have not engaged with water pocket, I want to know what you've been doing with your life. This is really, really special stuff. Water pocket is committed to bringing back centuries-old traditional liqueurs, aperitivi, and bringing them back to life, giving them new life, and giving us an opportunity to taste things that our ancestors were drinking hundreds of years ago. This one is named after the old Notom road, but the mixture of these two with some hot water and maybe a little bit of this guy, it's gonna make your nights cozy and lovely and warm and full of a new flavor to us, but one that's been around for hundreds of years. So keep this around. Keep it in a cool, dark place. We don't want to expose this to any sunlight or warmth that we can avoid. It will crystallize. And crystallized honey is not bad, and it will not go bad. You can re-liquefy your honey by putting this in a pot of simmering water. However, I prefer this honey to be really, really nice and sexy and silky and liquefied. So we're going to keep it that way in my home. You can do whatever you want. I'm not your mother. It's up to you. Now let's keep moving. We also have some chocolate, some salumi, a whole lot of fun. We'll go salumi first. This is your Biellese Finocchiono. Finocchiono is a traditional Tuscan style salami that employs the use of both fennel seed and fennel pollen. You know fennel seed from the hundreds of sauces we've made and from all of the pork dishes and all of the sausages, but fennel pollen is a bit more unique to Tuscany. It's harvested by collecting the blossoming branches of a fennel plant, tying them into a bouquet and hanging them upside down to dry. And once fully dried, if you beat them onto a tablecloth, it will release all of the pollen, all of the petals, all of the tender leaves and stems, and everything that's collected from that very kind beating is fennel pollen. It is slightly sweeter, headier, more aromatic than its seed partner from the same plant. And what it does here is it lengthens, sweetens, and amplifies the fennel experience. The story of the creation of fennel pollen, of Finocchiono is very sweet. The story goes that there was a young boy wandering through one of the markets in Tuscany begging for food or for work, and he noticed a salami maker turn his back in his stall. And the young boy stole a salami and ran into the fennel fields to hide and to eat it. And while he was hiding under those fennel fronds, a little bit of that pollen dusted onto his salami, and he realized that it was the very best salami that he had ever had, and he couldn't do anything, and he could not help himself. He took the salami back to the salami maker, admitted what he'd done, apologized for it, and offered to work off the price of the salami. But the whole time he was doing that, he kept begging the salami maker to add fennel pollen to his salami. And the salami maker finally did it, mostly just to shut the kid up. But when they fully cured it, opened it up to try it, he realized that it was, in fact, the very best salami that had ever been made. And they forsook all of the other salamis they'd been making, only made Finocchiona from then on. And they lived happily ever after with Finocchiona only. So the Tuscan region would beg that you include this in your holiday traditions, and we send it to you so that you could. Pair it with your Fiore Sardo. If you've got a pot of beans going this holiday season, especially cannellini, throw a couple slices in. It will enrich it with this laciness of fennel flavor. It is really, really wonderful when paired with beans, which is another classic Tuscan ingredient. They used to be called mangiafagioli, which was just bean eaters for short. So we're bringing Tuscany to your home this holiday season, and I hope that you find a way to include them in your traditions. Our traditions include chocolate. We are chocolate people first and foremost. You cannot get away from it. We love it. We celebrate it. We will force feed it to you if we have to, but my hope is that you will just find a way to enjoy these without being force fed. These are intended to be enjoyed in little one-offs, but could also fill a stocking or could feed Santa, or you could hide them or pretend they didn't show up and not share them with anybody. These are Madagascar milk chocolates from Pump Street in Suffolk in the UK. Madagascar is classically very zingy, tangy, fruity, bright, sour, but when it is laced with milk, it becomes very caramelized, very toasty, very round, and the perfect little pick-me-up that you need after your last-minute gifting, after filling the tree out, after doing all of the things that are required of us this holiday season. So if I were you, I would save these for you. I think you deserve them, but if you're a better person than I am, these can also go in stockings. Now we're going hard in the paint on Madagascar because this is also the foundation for this bar. Meet Omnom's Milk and Cookies. If you haven't seen this before, I again want to know what you've been doing. This is our favorite holiday treat that comes from Omnom. If you're not familiar with Omnom, they are based in Reykjavik in Iceland, owned and operated by our friends Oscar and Kjartan and a collection of really wonderful folks. But this is a bar that we've been having the privilege of enjoying for many holiday seasons past. It is not made year-round, which is great news and bad news because I eat my body weight in this every holiday season, and it's good that it's not around the rest of the year because I would continue to do that. But this is again, milk chocolate Madagascar bar with a really lovely classic Icelandic cookie laid on the back of this bar. You are met with a full oat and almond cookie with a really, really lovely, very milky, very caramelized, classically Omnom textured bar. It is impossible to eat just a little bit of this, so I dare you to try. This is another thing I would not share, but it's up to you. Be the better person. I'm not going to be the better person, but there's that cookie texture. It is light and airy and flaky, but boy, is it delicious. Boy, is it comforting. Boy, does it taste like the holidays. That's why we love this one. So share if you want. Don't share if you don't want. I wouldn't tell. Now, the last thing. Biscotti di Nocciola. Matt Caputo sent an email when these first arrived and said that they were the best cookie he had ever had, better than Nuvoloti. And if you've been around Caputo's for more than a decade, you might remember Nuvoloti and the tears that were cried when we were no longer able to get our hands on it. But I admittedly rolled my eyes when he said they were better than Nuvoloti because I just couldn't believe it. Nuvoloti holds a special place in my heart, and I'm still working through my pain in therapy. But we got our hands on these finally. We opened them up, and I hate being wrong, and I hate admitting it, but here I am admitting it. Matt Caputo, you were right. These are, in fact, the best cookies in the entire world. They are clean. They are simple, but they're decadent, they are rich, they are buttery, they are everything you want in a holiday cookie, but in a cookie ever at all. It's not a classic, what we know as a biscotti looking cookie. These are simply twice baked cookies. Biscotti means twice cooked. So these were cooked once and then recooked to really dry them out, make them easy to travel with, but perfect for dipping in your hot toddy, in your coffee, in your vin santo, in your wine. If you are drinking some sort of liquid, maybe we dip this in it. Maybe we don't leave them for Santa, because I think Santa would be happy with a more boring cookie, and we save this one for you. You can also crush these on top of gelato. You can crush them on top of whatever custard-based pie you're going to be making. But I'm really excited for you to try these first and foremost. It is one of the things that brightened my holiday season and breathed life back into me after a few long days of shopping, and I hope that they will also reinvigorate you, get you ready for the best parts of the holidays. When all of the stress is gone and all of the gifts are purchased and everything is done and set and everyone has eaten, you will remember the time you spent with your family around a dinner table, and it will be because of things like this. So happy holidays to all of you. We love you so, so much. We're going to be seeing you very soon, I'm sure. Come in for cheese. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you loved. Be well, be happy, be joyful, happy everything. And we'll see you later.